My name is Lubna Masarwa. I'm from Palestine. I usually don't like to define myself as anything, especially as an activist. I had to define myself as an activist, or it's maybe something that was created by a more international community. They need to put you in a frame of something. For me, to act is a normal thing, reaction. When you're born in a place where everyone's supposed to be equal and you see something injustice happen or something wrong happen around us, so you act. I have been going in a long way in my life, looking for what should be done and trying in different times to find the true action to end the injustice, because I'm very attached to that mentally and emotionally. And I did a lot of work, first of all, with NGOs and social change, political change, trying to even go to the Israeli courts against different things. And I find out that I'm going in a very small cycle, and these NGOs and the groups are acting inside the mainstream of the Israeli. At the moment you do something else, then you definitely will be arrested, or your center will be closed, and all of this. So I started more to take part in direct action, especially in demonstrations in Belayim and also inside and among the Palestinian society inside Israel. To go weekly demonstrations against the wall, to try to pass checkpoints, to make tents against house demolition, and to support the Palestinian society. In 2008, I get involved in the Free Gaza movement, and I started to take part with the boats to break the siege in Gaza, sailing from Cyprus to Gaza, traveling from Tel Aviv to Cyprus and from Cyprus to Gaza. And I think it's made me much more attached to my cause when I saw how my people in Gaza live, with the siege, with the poverty, with the lack of resources, lack of work, lack of medicine. And I entered Gaza a few times with the Dignity boat. Then I also was arrested in 2009 in another ship called the Spirit of Humanity by the Israelis. And then I was more, I insist more to do for breaking the siege in Gaza. And we started to organize the Freedom Flotilla for 2000, that sailed from Turkey in 2010. I was in the Mavi Marmara at that moment. Then I went to the European Parliament to do some lobby about the right of Palestinian people to resist. And I resigned after 4 months because I find myself in this big city that deals with power and money, and I find out that the white people in the parliament, they all know about Palestine. They don't care about Palestine. It's more interest between different countries, more about economics, relations, and capitalism. I had a very, very difficult 2 years, and I was very frustrated because I really don't want to repeat myself, and I don't want to do things that make me feel good. I want to make things that can be useful to change the situation. And I couldn't accept when people telling you it's a process. and you build something and the result will come later. I couldn't accept that. I just wanted to do something that can change the reality in Palestine. I don't want to go now in details of what happens in Palestine. You should come to Palestine, you should learn about Palestine, you should educate yourself about Palestine. You know, if we're talking about what we do, so we have different levels from my point of view. First of all, we have to continue struggling, and we have to struggle even more and to look for new strategies. As a Palestinian people, we have to maybe start a third intifada. We have to decide how we struggle, if we want to make a big movement, as I said, toward the checkpoints, or to break the wall and to be ready to pay the price, or if it's arms struggle and to continue on this path. And then you have the international community, which I don't guarantee at all at the politicians. And I think they did nothing and they will do nothing. Palestine is in this situation more than 60 years. They broke all the international laws. They keep building settlements. They did everything, and Israel is like the spoiled son of the West. They have a normalization all the time. They deliver Israel with weapons and everything, and that's where the do-gooders came, because many internationals, instead of acting in their countries, they're coming and open another human rights shops for the Palestinian people and delivering aid and all of this. But I do guarantee in the people, and I think we should do work together and to check with the international solidarity movement what they did and what they have to do. They also have to create a new strategy to change the situation in Palestine. Maybe it's not enough to make another report about human rights. Maybe it's not enough to come and to do something in NGOs work. Maybe they have to do much work in the BDS movement, the boycott. You know, it's a question that should be raised into the international community. First of all, I think we should make a work on ourselves, especially in our ego in politics and activism, because it's playing a role, and many people think it's about themselves, an activist, and about themselves doing something, and not about the cause itself. And I used to ignore this side and saying it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 heroes or whatever, and at least we have results. But I find it very important when I try to make any group or any work. I find the ego problems playing a serious role in destroying the movement. You start something and then you had a fight, who will have his name, for example, in a press conference, or who has his picture in that or in this, and it's destroying. And I think that things will work better if we start to understand that it's behind the myself. And I think it's something very important. And I saw that with many activists I has go, together in this last, 10 years. We always get to the same problem, and then there's a personal competition, and then the movement separate because everyone accused the other and fights. So we really, I can tell that we had to do work in ourselves, how to make it without wasting your time in a spiritual workshops or deep process, and still to act and to make a movement. I don't have an answer. I really thinking about it, but I had to deal with my ego too in 2008 when I was working in the ships to Gaza, and all the media and the CNN and the BBC, and you can see your colleagues and everyone fighting for a piece of acknowledgement, and that's very human. but that's destroyed many things. And it's sometimes I feel shy to talk about it, because imagine me leaving the Freedom Flotilla and the 9 people who were killed in the ship and come to deal with the ego of the people who each one need acknowledgement. It's very tricky. But honestly, I'm telling you that it's not less important than other things we need to do, because that's the problem. So I don't know. I have lights here and there in my mind, and I'm trying to make the link. I'm trying to get rid of fear, and to say it honestly, that the prison scared me, the Israeli investigations for hours scared me, the threats scared me. Everyone thought I will go out. If you look at the videos, they're calling me to smile to the camera and to act like, and I didn't want to look at the camera. I just was sad and terrified and many things. So I'm trying to deal with my fear, trying to be honest with myself, trying to find the line between wanting to live a normal life, to have love and family and music and cinema and nice cafes, and to deal with oppression and injustice that need you to sacrifice many things, maybe your freedom, maybe your life. And it's a fact. There is no freedom achieved in the world without people paying price of their life or their freedom. There's thousands of Palestinian prisoners sitting in jail, and I have to ask myself why I'm not one of them at the moment. We thought that Facebook and social media is great, but what we are doing now is demonstrating in Facebook, like and comment, and we feel like we went to the demonstration or we did something. Or we make a post for a Palestinian dead body boy or for something from Gaza, and that's, satisfy the ego that we did something, and you still can be sitting in your office or in the sofa having your cafe and just feel like you're doing something. Really, I see many people doing politics in Facebook, and it's illusion. Wake up. You should be in the streets, not behind your laptop doing stuff, and people get used to that, and people really feels good about it. So I think it's a very dangerous what's happened today. I mean, in our century, scares me to see people really having the whole life in a machine, and a machine controls them and not the opposite. And I think some of our struggle had become a little bit romantic. We go every week with, sometimes we wear like Avatar, sometimes we wear like Gandhi, sometimes we bring in musicians, and we do a small demonstration and we go home. That's why I think, from my point of view, that we should reconsider and reorganize ourselves as a civil society movement in Palestine, far away from the parties, far away from Hamas and Fatah, far away from camera and media, and to start first of all, with honest talk and having strategy for our struggle in the future, how we can make it more alive, how we can build our own language about our cause without using the same terms. It's nice to compare it with South Africa, but it's not South Africa. It has its own words and its own situation, and the whole thing is a unique situation.